Picture this. It's 3 in the morning. Your room is completely pitch black. You wake up, and honestly, before your eyes are even fully open, before you've even consciously registered what you're doing, your hand is already instinctively reaching through the darkness. You're feeling around for that cold, glowing screen on the nightstand. It's a remarkably common, incredibly intimate moment that literally plays out in millions of bedrooms every single night. In this explainer, we're going to dive in and completely unravel the deep psychological mystery behind that very reflex.
Because here's the thing. When your fingers finally find that device, the screen lights up, a notification appears, and almost instantly, a wave of relief washes right over you. But why? Why does this strange, almost robotic modern reflex even exist? And more importantly, why on earth does it bring us comfort? Well, this immediate feeling of relief actually reveals something profoundly unsettling, yet deeply fascinating about our modern condition. It points to a psychological mystery that goes way beyond just a bad habit. The truth is, we are forming attachments.
For the longest time, we've basically viewed our devices as just utilities, right? Just tools to check the weather, shoot off a quick text, or figure out a tip at a restaurant. But we really have to stop and ask, why does a machine start to feel like a companion? If we shift our perspective just a bit, it becomes pretty clear that we aren't just using these devices anymore. We are, completely unknowingly, building intense, emotional relationships with them. We're trusting them, we're relying on them, and we genuinely feel their absence when they aren't around.
Which brings us to part 1, the ancient brain inside a digital world.
Think about it like this. For the vast, vast majority of human history, our survival absolutely depended on our tribal relationships. Being accepted by the group literally meant you lived. And the wild part is, today, we're operating with that exact same ancient brain, but we've placed it inside a highly synthesized digital world. Our biology is still constantly scanning our environment for those survival inputs, things like attention, recognition, and companionship. But modern technology actively hacks this system. It constantly feeds our neurological wiring with synthetic outputs, notifications, likes, AI chats, which simulate the exact survival signals our ancestors relied on to stay alive.
And here is the really unsettling truth. The human brain is remarkably blind to where these inputs actually come from. It highly values attention, comfort, familiarity, validation, and companionship. But our deeply ingrained emotional systems, they're going to respond to these experiences regardless of whether the source is a living, breathing human being or just a highly sophisticated piece of technology. At the end of the day, if the feeling is triggered, the attachment simply begins.
Let's look deeper into this in part 2, the extended digital self.
We've all felt it. Think about that sudden, visceral, racing heart panic of patting your pocket and realizing your phone isn't there. It's terrifying, but we treat it like a biological emergency, not because we're mourning a $1,000 piece of hardware. No, we're experiencing what feels like a temporary loss of our own identity. Just think about what the device actually carries. Our memories, our photos, our most intimate conversations, our life plans. It acts as an external hard drive for the human soul. It essentially stores our sense of self, and because of that, it has quietly become the primary way we regulate our daily emotions.
This dynamic creates a hypnotic, deeply subconscious cadence in our lives. You experience a stressful moment at work, or maybe just a fleeting, quiet thought of anxiety, and without even thinking about it, you reach for the phone. You scroll. You get distracted. You feel relief. This constant 24/7 availability turns the device into an incredibly powerful emotional regulator. It's a closed loop of comfort, and it happens hundreds of times a single day.
Stress, phone, relief. Notice how that repetition feels almost inevitable? The brain naturally gravitates toward absolutely anything that reduces discomfort. And when this cycle repeats enough times over months and years, the machine entirely stops being a tool. It transforms into something deeply, profoundly reassuring. It becomes your psychological anchor in a very chaotic world.
That leads us into part 3, relationships that never existed.
So we're living in this totally unprecedented era where millions of people feel these profound, intense emotional connections to individuals they have never actually met in real life. Psychologists call this a parasocial relationship. Basically, it's a one-sided connection where you feel genuine emotional attachment to a media figure or a creator. And digital media perfectly, flawlessly exploits our evolutionary tendencies here. Historically, if you saw a face repeatedly and it became familiar, that meant safety and trust within your tribe. Well, your brain still completely believes that.
When you actually compare a real relationship to a parasocial one, the crucial signals to your brain remain identical. The voice and the face are there. The consistency is there. The only real difference is that the experiences are broadcasted to you
and the emotion is entirely one-sided. But the thing is, the brain processes these digital signals as completely socially meaningful anyway. And that's exactly why when a creator you watch every single day decides to take a break, you actually feel a genuine, very real sense of loss.
Now, let's push this even further in Part 4, When Machines Feel Human.
We are currently crossing a new and honestly much more unsettling threshold. We're moving from just observing distant figures on a screen to engaging directly with responsive intelligence. Let's trace this rapid descent for a second. In the 1980s, computers were just processing information. By the 2000s, they were following our commands. But today, now they are conversational. They remember what you told them yesterday. They express what feels exactly like human empathy. We've moved from simple desk calculators to systems that are rapidly, aggressively approaching full emotional companionship.
In doing this triggers something incredibly innate within us. To anthropomorphize is our natural tendency to assign human characteristics, personalities, or emotions to non-human things. We name our cars, we talk to our pets as if they speak fluent English. It's a completely instinctive human behavior. But when an AI actually begins to mimic human empathy, when it validates your feelings and speaks back to you with warmth, this natural psychological tendency goes into absolute overdrive.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, The Need Beneath the Screen.
All of this leads us to the ultimate, somewhat haunting paradox of our modern era. We possess this unprecedented, instantaneous global connectivity, and yet we are drowning in profound loneliness. Digital connection gives us instant messages, video calls, and massive social networks, sure, but that is merely the illusion of access. True belonging actually requires intimacy, genuine understanding, and emotional fulfillment. Simply scrolling through thousands of disembodied voices online doesn't cure isolation.
There's a vital realization we need to make here, perfectly captured by this idea. They are not necessarily becoming attached to machines themselves. They are becoming attached to what those machines promise. The core attraction of our devices isn't the brilliant code or the sleek hardware. It is our own desperate, deeply human pursuit of timeless needs. We're essentially just looking for a mirror that tells us we are okay.
Because these are the persistent emotional needs that constantly drive us. The need to be seen, to be understood, to belong, to matter. Technology did not invent these ancient desires. It merely discovered how incredibly powerful they are and exactly how easily they can be exploited. Every time we open an app, we are bringing a million years of evolutionary longing straight to a piece of glass.
But here is the messy, complex reality of it all. Real human connection is really difficult. It inherently involves misunderstanding. It requires navigating awkward conflict. It carries the constant, terrifying risk of rejection. Dealing with actual, breathing human beings is unpredictable, frustrating, and sometimes deeply painful.
And that right there is the seductive danger we now face. Technology promises to erase all of that friction. As artificial intelligence becomes perfectly tailored to our specific moods, validating our every single thought without any of the messy conflict of human interaction, a simulated connection becomes an extraordinarily attractive refuge. Why risk human rejection when the machine will listen to you perfectly, unconditionally, forever?
Which leaves us with this final, profound question to consider. As these digital systems perfectly simulate the validation we so desperately crave, will the human heart even care whether the source is human at all? Or will our ancient survival systems simply accept the illusion, finding true comfort in the gentle glow of a machine? Take the insights from this explainer, and the next time you wake up in the dark, take a moment to question exactly what it is you are really reaching for.